So Arizona State stunned us all this year, right? I I had them going over their preseason win total, but by a whole half a game. Their win total is 4.5. I had them winning 5 games. They won a few more than that, 11 of them to be exact, including a Big 12 championship. So are they going to be able to run it back next year, or was this just a fun story, flash in the pan, and they will regress back to the mean in 2025 with their vastly inferior roster to everybody else? They, could have beaten Texas and had several opportunities to do so, but let's just overlook that fact for now and focus on it in the landscape of the Big 12. Sam Leavitt is coming back. That's a pretty significant piece. Now, Cameron Scadaboo sadly cannot. The People's running back, trademarked by my guy Richie Bradshaw of Locked On Sun Devils, he is not going to return to college football. He's out of eligibility. He's going to the NFL draft. I think it's just a shame. It's a shame we only got one true year of Scadaboo. He was doing all of the things that he did this year last season. It's just that Arizona State was a mess. You know why they were able to give him the ball and let him throw it down the field? Because last year, the quarterback situation got so absurdly beat up and injured, they didn't have a quarterback to snap the ball to. So they snapped it to Cameron Scadaboo and Jalen Conyers. True story. They went 3-9, and when they had a real quarterback and in Sam Leavitt come in, suddenly they were better offensively. Oh my, who could have foreseen? So Leavitt returning is big. Now, there was a report, I believe it was from Pete Nakos of On3, that Leavitt turned down some bigger NIL offers to go to other schools. This is awesome. This is awesome. I am not anti-college athletes being able to make money based on the work they put in. But one thing that frustrates a lot of college football fans who I come across, and I have a hard time doing anything but empathizing with them, is when you're at a place like Arizona State that has long been referred to as a sleeping giant, but has never fully realized its potential and could very well be on the way to doing so if Kenny Dillingham continues to activate the Valley, it can still be hard to keep up. Financially, Arizona State right now, despite the efforts that Kenny Dillingham has put in time and again to make sure Arizona State is as competitive financially as they possibly can be in this money-driven world of college football that we've created, they still can't offer as much right now. Maybe one day they could, but if a heavy hitter wants to come in with a bigger offer, they can make it, and they can outbid them. But I applaud Sam Leavitt for sticking around with Arizona State because, he just played his redshirt freshman season, right? I have no idea what his long-term goals are, NFL draft prospects or anything, but he's going to be at Arizona State for at least one more year. If you're trying to build an offense, that's usually a good foundation. Pretty good. Pretty good. Start with, the most important position in all of sports. And Leavitt this year was so much better than people realize. 62%, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and just under 2,900 yards in 13 games for the Sun Devils this year. The Sugar Bowl was not necessarily his best performance. Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl, I don't know. They're all blending together. Pretty sure it was a Sugar Bowl. Or Peach Bowl. Peach Bowl? I think it was a Peach Bowl. Yeah. Let's go with Peach Bowl. Pretty sure that's right, but playoff quarterfinal game is all you care about. He was 24 of 46, did not throw a touchdown, did throw an interception. But they're not in that spot without Sam Leavitt or Cam Scadaboo. So now they have to go about trying to replace one of those guys. Well, that's a heck of a lot better than replacing two of those guys. And so a guy they've brought in a running back, I'm intrigued, shall we say. Kanye Udo. Great name. Just a great college football name. Went for over 1,100 yards this year running for Army. So being a workload back, that's not going to be a concern. Frankly, I thought as a transfer prospect, he was a little underrated. There's been a lot of discussion online about transfer portal rankings and underrating guys in certain conferences compared to other leagues. I don't buy into that particular narrative wholesale, but I do think there are individual examples you can highlight and say, why wasn't that guy this rare? For example, Mekhi Hughes goes from Tulane to Oregon to replace Jordan James, their starting running back who went to the NFL. Hughes went for over 1,400 yards this year and was a 4-star prospect. And in the eyes of 24/7 as a transfer. And he was their number 1 overall guy. Udo was phenomenal for Army this year. Also had a 1,000-plus yard season. Why is he only a 3-star transfer? I don't know. There's a lot to that. I'm just pointing it out to say that one caught me by surprise. And don't let the star rating or lack of star rating there allow you to think that it's just kind of a guy. It's just kind of a depth piece. No, that looks like a workhorse back to me. That looks like a workhorse back. So you have a running back who's proven he can carry a high volume, and certainly they have other guys in the room who are capable of running the football there. And as great as Cameron Scadaboo was, history tends to show you, though there's a bit of a changing in the winds in college and the NFL along this front, running backs are more replaceable than some other positions. But you know what Arizona State showed in the last couple of games without their leading receiver? That they've got some talent at wideout and that they can throw the ball and that your quarterback matters a whole heck of a lot more than the wide receivers do. But Jordan Tyson should be back in Tempe next year. He was on an absolute tear. Does everybody understand how good Jordan Tyson was for the 4 games leading up to him getting hurt? 5 games, really, 6 games, 7 games. Yeah, he was really good. Here, I'll just give you his last 4 since they've all got the triple-digit factor. The one before this stretch was 7 catches for 99 yards and 2 touchdowns. 12 for 176 and 2 touchdowns. That was at number 16 Kansas State. 9 for 125. That was against 14th ranked BYU. Then in their rivalry game, 8 for 143 and a touchdown. Arizona State didn't have him for the Big 12 championship game when they blew out Iowa State, or the quarterfinal game against Texas where they almost pulled off the upset. So if Tyson comes back and Leavitt is there and you've got options at running back, that's a pretty good foundation. And oh, by the way, you're going to have the same 3 top coaches. Kenny Dillingham, back at head coach. Marcus Arroyo, back at offensive coordinator. Didn't love every play that he called in that quarterfinal game, particularly on 4th and short. There was a lack of creativity there. But coaches, like players, can learn and evolve from their mistakes. And Brian Ward defensively, who got off to kind of a rough start in that quarterfinal game, and then all of a sudden turned it on in a big way. Play call at the end wasn't the right one, it turns out. Or was it? Did Quinn Ewers just make a better call on the other side? So then you look at Arizona State's recruiting rankings for the last couple of years, not blowing you away. Transfer portal rankings, they're not making a ton of noise. But again, couple of nice additions. Jalen Moss has been at Fresno State for the last couple of years. Wide receiver. They bring him in to supplement their quarterback, who they look like they are building around to give not just a run game, but, perimeter targets that can catch the football. Turns out that is indeed helpful for a guy playing the quarterback position. Moss has been over 500 yards each of the last 2 years at Fresno State. Heck, he's got 2 years of eligibility left if he wants to use them both in Tempe. So to bring this back to the question that I kind of posed earlier in the show, does this mean Arizona State's expectation is to be the Big 12 championship level? I don't share that particular belief that that's the expectation. That's a goal. That looks attainable. What Kenny Dillingham is doing looks incredibly sustainable. Arizona State's roster is only going to get better. It's not going to get worse than what it was this year. So they should be in the mix every year. But to have the expectation of a Big 12 conference championship, that requires a prolonged run of success that Kenny Dillingham just got 1 year's worth of accomplishing. So you keep stacking, you do this for 5 to 7 years. Then in that 8th year, you say, yeah, it's Big 12 championship or bust every year because look at what they've done for the last 5 or 6 years. But right now, for Arizona State, I don't think you need to worry about such things. Focus on what is right in front of you. Fill the holes you got in the roster, see where you can get better, and appreciate the fact that you have a quarterback who really wants to be in Tempe. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time, and until then, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.